How's everyone doing today? I'm be talking about the latest new Tron film that I saw yesterday in cinemas, and after watching it, I thought it was a really good movie. It's probably the most visually appealing movie I've seen in quite a while. I haven't seen the first one, but I've heard people saying that one's better than this one. I wouldn't know. I'm like kind of a Tron 2010 version because I haven't seen that one, but I may watch it because if this one was a banger and the other one's great, bro, I'm in for like a nice ride. Nice ride for some good movie watching experience. I think the best part about this movie was the visuals and the tunes. The tunes were banging. I was watching this movie while stoned, and every time I heard the tunes, it made me feel like I was floating towards the clouds. It made me feel like I was on a mattress just surfing the clouds or some shit. Or just made me surf the clouds without the mattress, whatever. But yeah, I thought the movie was great. I thought the movie was a banger. I thought the story was pretty simple, probably the weakest part of it, but it wasn't that bad. I heard like critics or some shit saying the story isn't that great. No, I didn't mind the story. I thought the story was grand. I thought the villain was pretty good as well. Although I do have a preference for villains that do shit themselves, because the villain in Tron was sort of just like Dr. Eggman or some shit, just like sitting back, sending his AIs for Eve because they wanted, because he wanted the chip or some shit that makes him like actually exist permanently in real life. I thought it was pretty good. I also didn't notice that the song by Nine Inch Nails, "Give Me Something to Believe In," was a song for who's the character? The guy that played Morbius. It was a song for his character in Tron, and it actually makes sense because like, "Give me something to believe in." The main guy in the movie thinks he thinks he can become human, and it's like the song's basically saying, "Give me something to believe in." Like the guy believes he can be human. I think that's pretty sick. Each soundtrack was an absolute banger. To be honest, there was no miss or anything. Probably the one movie where the soundtrack was like the best. To be honest, in this movie, I thought this had like the best soundtrack. Like the scenes were so great. I really loved the scene where Eve was where Eve was like running away from the two AIs. The guy Fuck! Oh man, I keep forgetting. I'm gonna look his name up. The guy who played Morbius. I keep forgetting what his name is. Jared Leto. Right? Yeah, Jared Leto who played Morbius. Jared Leto. Alright, yeah. So I finally fucking remember his name. I love the scene where Evie's just running away from the two AIs chasing her. Jared Leto, and then we have a black chick with like white hair. Who has granny hair. That was a really fun scene. She's like running and constantly avoiding them. And I also love how like ruthless the AI is presented in the movie, because I feel like that is pretty realistic. If AI was a person and you did tell it to do something, it won't stop doing it until it completes that task, which I think is pretty sick. I think it's pretty accurate of how it will be. Like the scene where he was driving towards her, and then I don't know, a rock or some shit hit him in the face and like cracked his helmet open or some shit, and he's like he still didn't care. He didn't care if it was gonna rain on him. He didn't care if a bird was gonna shit on him and was gonna manage to go into his helmet. He was still locked in on getting a USB drive or whatever from Eve so he can be a real human. I thought that was pretty cool. I really like this isn't really that big of a deal, but I really like the scenes as well where it was like with the laser projector, it was like constantly, it was like making something from the grid into the real world. I love the way it looked. I love the way how like it moved and shit and all. It just looked really visually appealing. The whole movie was visually appealing. If you're going to this movie just to have like fucking eye sex or some shit, just have an eye fuck of a movie, it's a pretty good movie for that. And the scenes of just the car chases and shit were just pretty sick as well. I really like that. And I love how there's like a contrast between when they're in the AI world, in the grid world. It's like the Jared Leto, he's like talking to some big fucking god. It's like some big face in the wall, so she just tell him to do whatever. It's like, alright, go fucking order me a Big Mac at McDonald's and then bring it back to me, And then in like the real life, it's just like him texting like a program or something. I think that was actually pretty cool representation of like what it looks like and all. And yeah, it was just a really great movie, and the music was a banger, and like shit actually happens. I swear, in this scene, there's like barely any scenes where they're just talking, having a fucking a conversation over lunch or some shit. It's constantly action. It's with your one Jared Leto. I also like how the story progresses with like Jared Leto become more aware that he's a human. He's not AI. there's this scene where he's talking to creator and he's like describing the a feeling he had. It's like, I don't know. He just like, I think it was a feeling of love, but he couldn't describe it. He couldn't put it. He's like on the tip of his tongue, but he couldn't quite describe it. So it's like, it's pretty sick because it's like he's becoming more aware. He's starting to like understand how humans work and all, what emotions they feel and all. But he couldn't like quite get it, the feeling of love, because it's like on the tip of his tongue. And I'm fairly sure this movie just set it up for a sequel as well, because towards the end of the scene, towards the end of the film, the main villain, the main guy, I was like kind of zoned out about this. I was just thinking about like random shit. I was like in Arty Town. He gets like zapped into the grid, and like he ends up in the grid, and his veins and shit end up looking like he just contracted Ebola or something, and he's just trapped in the grid. And also, I forgot to mention, inside the grid it looks so cool. Like this movie is based off of a video game, and it just looks so sick when they're inside the grid. Like it's just all video game shit. It's all technological. It's all like electrical shit and all. Like when when Jared Leto and Eve were driving towards the light, the big fucking beam of Minecraft beacon light. She's like running her hand through like the sea of I don't know, technology or some shit. It's like feeling like this video game particles or technology particles, whatever they were on her hand. And I think that looked so sick. I was also like to imagine how it would feel if I was in there. It would actually, I don't know, I feel like it'd feel pretty weird. But yeah, this was a video game movie as well, and a video game movie, they have like an infamous history of just being a used condom. Just shit and a waste of time and just a terrible movie. But this one, for a video game movie, it was actually really good. There wasn't any moments where I was thinking, right, I want to like, just go home or some shit. I want to leave this movie halfway through. I don't really give a shit if I paid my ticket for it. I'll actually just wipe my ass with the ticket later on, or my piss on it. Like, I don't really care. It didn't really have me feeling like that. I thought it was great. I think it's one of the best video game movies I've ever seen. Probably the other ones is like Sonic the Hedgehog. Because if you can make a good video game movie, then yeah, you can make a good film. But yeah, overall it's great. I also loved how loved the main villain. Actually, not the main villain, not the guy that was like sending his AI slaves to go, do his bidding. One of the AIs, I think the black chick with granny hair. She was like trying to get capture Eve at all costs. When she made this big fucking like mech, I don't know, it's like in the shape of an N. It looked like a pair of pants for like a giant BFG sized cyborg. That was like sick, and there's some sick shots in it as well. The camera work is insane in this one. Like the scene where it's just her, I think Eve and all, and her company, like in the building skyscraper. They could just see in the distance a big fucking black end just like approaching them from the clouds towards this city, which I thought was pretty sick, and it's just so cool and all. Like even the scenes where they were shooting a laser with their bikes and all. I thought that's a pretty sick concept as well for like a game where you have to kill each other with your bikes and all. Like just everything about it was visually appealing. Everything about it was great. I don't really have that many complaints about it. The only complaint I really have about it, it's really just a nitpick. It's when the scene where Eve was running away, and then a lot of those like laser bikers just came around and just started circling on her and her lasers. There's like gaps on lasers where she could have climbed out of. Loki could have climbed out of and just got over in time before the rubble just came and like made a fucking Oreo sandwich over and just crushed her. Other than that though, I didn't really mind the movie. It was a great experience watching it. I think 2 hours, mostly 2 hours for movies is long. Like it had to be a pretty good story, it had to be a pretty good movie to warrant that long ass runtime of sitting sitting and existing watching a movie for 2 hours. 2 hours. It was actually grand for that film. The film, it was long, but it was like long as in it was long, fun and entertainment. Like I enjoyed it. I wanted to keep watching it and all. Like I wasn't getting bored or anything because of the long time. So I thought that was grand. Like the movie's able to be good with a long ass runtime. And yeah, if they do make a sequel, I'd definitely watch that. I should definitely watch 2010 Tron because I heard that's pretty good. 9 Inch Nails are pretty fucking good for making trippy ass music that'll make you feel like you're having a shroom trip or some shit. But yeah, I thought the Tron movie was great. Characters are grand. Villain was grand. And yeah, hope you did enjoy this video. See you later. Goodbye.